Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. So a couple of weeks ago, I did the video on Tuidi and mentioned the throwing versus the hitting versus, and Heiher Sensei, Donnie, my senpai and good buddy, made a long, lengthy comment on it, which hit to the heart of a lot of things that I just really kind of barely touched on. So a little bit of story time first. Hope it doesn't bore you. As I came up through the ranks in different styles, some of the easiest people to beat that I ever sparred with were those who had studied some judo and some taekwondo and something else, or some aikido and some shodan and something. And they'd segmented. So they learned how to throw and learned how to punch and kick, or they learned how to kick and they learned how to box, but they had learned all of those arts separately and weren't able to integrate them. So the concept I presented a couple of weeks ago, and as I said last week, was going to elaborate on today, is the concept of throwing versus joint locking versus pressure point striking versus just striking in general. The goal is to have an integrated martial art, and they all used to be. Dai Nippon Kempo Karate Jitsu was the name of the original Okinawa, or the original Japanese style branch organization before the Butokukai came in. In Okinawa, old Okinawan, we have, as in Seidokan, throwing, kicking, punching. And one of Heiher Sensei's quotes that I really like is someone had described karate to him as standing grappling with strikes. Because again, if we remember the context in which karate came about, it was self-defense. And self-defense doesn't start like this, which is why we do a lot of things that MMA doesn't, and they do things that we don't. I don't have gloves on, and I'm not on guard. I'm standing here randomly, and Joe Schmuck, he tries to grab a hold of me and do something, and and now I'm punched, because I made the wrong move. Okinawan karate was designed specifically to deal with that, so when now I come in, and I've already made a move. Okay? So, different set of parameters under which it was created. And so it was very much this standing grappling, right? So again, saying he does the same thing, right? Standing grappling with then strikes. So once I come over here, now I can kick, punch, hit, finish, etc., etc. I'm just kind of throwing random stuff. I'm not doing a technique here. But the concept is that it was integrated. For those of you in my age bracket, thereabouts and older, you will recall service stations. We would drive our car into a service station, whereupon an attendant would run out, fill the gas, while a second attendant was checking the tires. When he was done with the gas, one of the two of them would open the hood and check your oil, fill your windshield wiper fluid, go around, check the muffler, you go away. Sometimes you get a little gift. But they did all of it right there. And then, if your car needed to be worked on, you took it back to your neighborhood service station where you knew these guys, the Gomer and Goober Piles, and they'd pull it in, put it on the lift, and change your tires, fix your muffler, work on the transmission. It was all done in that shop. Those were good old days where they had actual mechanics doing all the stuff, and you just sat in your car and smiled and chatted with them or got out and talked to them while they did all the things. Now, you put your own gas in your car, then you drive over to this guy to get your muffler shop, then you got the tire shops and the Big O's and those guys, and then you drive over to the transmission shop, and then you drive to the body shop, and it's all segmented. Well, the same thing happened in karate, largely because of going from Okinawa to Japan. So when it went from Okinawa to Japan, they already had judo, or jiu-jitsu rather, and aiki jiu-jitsu. They already had weapons, the samurai arts, the yari, the katana, the ninja arts of the shoto and the caltrops and the shuriken. They had all those things already. So Okinawa didn't have anything to bring to Japan that they felt was unique in that regard, and karate got turned into just punches and kicks. And then as it spread throughout the world, Japan being the biggest proponent of spreading karate to the world at large, that's all the rest of the world got. While on Okinawa, trudging away, you still had the service station karate, where we go from grappling to throwing, which is a connection that I also appreciated when I shifted from Kempo, because it was very much that way. So the idea and the terms that Donnie and I have come to love to use are when the attack comes, enter, control, dispatch, finish off however you're going to, okay? Now, in our terms in Seidokan, typically we're going to first neutralize somehow, first not get hit, move off line, block if necessary. If it's a strike coming at me or a kick, right, I'm going to move off, hey, I'm going to move off line, deal with that first. Next, I'm going to strike somehow because of the position I'm in. I don't have an immediate hold of him. So after I block, I'm going to strike somehow. And as I'm striking, I'm going to get a grip on something. And then I'm going to do Nage. And then I can go Tuidi and go into my Juju, Uke, and chokes and so forth. So I move through enter, control, dispatch. I'm standing here random. Joe Blow decides to hit me over the head with a stick. Right? I don't know why. Okay, just regular street step and stick. Hey. And I go, oh crap! Oh no, that useless crossball. Oh crap! So I've entered. I've angled a little bit, so if I stay right here and his wrist releases, so as I do that, I'm kind of moving off to the side. Then, just like in the kata, I roll through. I don't stop and hold. So I've entered, I've controlled, then I can dispatch, throw him to the ground. Okay? So that's the concept. The idea of a holistic transition from not getting hit, to neutralizing his attack by coming into him. If I yield too much, and there's times to do that, there's times to yield angling, but if I yield too much, his attack continues. Maybe sometimes I want that. Maybe I want to coax him in. He comes in, and I'm going back and back and back, and then I get him in. Now we're here, now we can go into the grappling side of things, okay? So sometimes I can do that tactically. Or I yield, and then sidestep. You didn't see that, but I did this, by the way. Okay? Sidestep and come into my technique. So the idea is don't get hit, if possible. Next, neutralize him some way, stun, kuzushi, imbalance him, get a hold of him, control him, and then whatever I choose to do and finish. And that progression combines the nage, the throwing, with the tuidi, the joint locking, and the atemi, the striking, which can involve pressure points or not, depending on how you use them. Even the tuidi and the nage can involve pressure points. When I coached wrestling, and I would teach, oh no, go back where you were, we'll go left lead. All right. And I would teach this, left lead, sorry. Yeah, that's left, okay. And I teach the takedown, usually it's tap, level change, penetrate, pick up. So keep your balance. So I pick up, but to take him down, sometimes Kyusho helps. Right inside the thigh, my head's a little blunt, but if I take my fingers and push there, or hit with my elbow, or hit hard, punch it in karate, I would just pick up and hit. And so we combine the pressure point and the striking and the throwing and the holds and the joint locks and integrate them into the whole. However, when we're teaching them as a technique or a drill, we will teach an individual throw. Osotogari, his favorite. Okay? Ippon seonage, taiotoshi. We'll teach the individual throw first. Then we have to contextualize it. From attack, we include the neutralization and the entry, the irimi, the entry, then the control, getting the hold that we want to get. And I went over this a little while ago. When we're doing throws in judo, if I grab here, that's one technique, right? If I go here, they change the name. If I go here, they change the name. But essentially, it's all hip throw, okay? So whether I'm doing ogoshi or hanigoshi, ogoshi, hanigoshi, doesn't really matter in terms of karate, but that's just the throw. How do I get there? So first I teach just the throw. Now I gotta go, okay, is he punching me? Okay, then that's how I come in. Then I get to my throw. Is he grabbing me? Okay, that's how I come in. Now I get to my throw. Are we already in wrestling position? And that's how I get to my throw. So then we add context. Following that, after I throw him, what if the ground, the earth didn't hit him hard enough? Then I do finish or dispatch. So a smooth transition between striking, grappling, throwing is essential eventually, even though we teach muffler shop, tire shop, eventually we have to be able to have that service station in our karate again. Hopefully that made some sort of sense, contextualizing things. Understand teaching individual technique and movement, even if it's a big, long Kempo style technique that I teach. That's not meant to be used verbatim. That's to teach me what the possible targets on a body are and how to smoothly go from hitting here to here without having to pull my hand back and do this kind of hockey fighting swing, but to hit and then right from there to hit and then right from there to throw, and find, through a good flow drill technique, find how to economically move from one phase of the encounter to the next. That's it for today. Long diatribe. Hopefully it made some sense. If you have questions, please ask. If you have comments, please make them. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, do the stuff. It's a video. Thank you for everybody who joined. And until next week, as always, let's keep practicing.